can't go off that theory of a movie that people made.
Right.
There's no back the reality of we see.
Yeah.
Or we hope
I
to
don't
see.
even know what you're saying.
If you're basing something off a movie or anything like that, it's not a theory. Those are perceptions of people's reality, of what they view, of what they want
Why
to
does that need to
believe
be
what
said?
will happen.
Well, I think it's pretty
Why-
necessary because there are still people just trying to throw around things like the butterfly effect.
Exactly.
Do you guys
Although the
do you guys
butterfly
believe
effect
that we're not
is-
using 100% of our brains? Like, do you guys believe in that?
That
You're dumb if you
I
do.
mean, I guess it depends on how you want to define that, because I would say it's accurate to say that we're not utilizing 100% of our brains to their fullest extent. But I wouldn't say that we're only using 10% because then we'd just be brain
No.
dead.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that'd be
go, 'cause This is
stupid.
just memeage. Y'all are just trying to sound smart at this point.
Well, no, I'm just
Um,
saying that's just kind
That's
of.
No,
something
it's
you can
just-
Google and find out. Like, Google it. Just Google it. We know. Well, we know that we use our whole brain. It's
Right,
not-
but what I'm saying is that we're not utilizing it to its fullest potential, which I
you
don't think we
utilize
ever
your
were.
entire brain to as much as you do use your brain to its fullest potential. You don't use nothing. There's not much that you're gonna do that's gonna cause activation in every cortex of your brain, in every lobe.
Yes.
But you use your whole brain to its whole potential. Like, there's nothing you can unlock.
Okay, well,
Right.
that's an answer to my question. That's just simple.
Right?
Hey,
But I don't
big
like the
people,
talking
are we
about
gonna
it as if.
start?
No, I'm leaving. Yeah, have fun. Peace.
Guess he's gonna back up his theory.
Damn.
That kid has a serious god complex.
God? Like, is he religious?
No, it's like he thinks of himself as higher than everyone, and
Oh.
therefore believes that his viewpoints are correct and can never be changed.
Because I mean, your theory
Interesting.
and his theory were both correct. I mean, yes and
To
no.
a certain extent, but his theory wasn't necessarily correct because he failed to recognize the logical jump, the logical fallacy that he was creating within his theory, because he was missing a fundamental step. Because just because there is no proof for anything doesn't mean that there's no meaning. Because it's proof that there's no meaning.
Exactly.
He didn't.
So we
recognize
create
that.
our own meaning. That's all we do.
Well, yes, but that's not the answer that he's looking for, and neither was I. What I was gonna say that we can't know. We can't say that there is no meaning, and we can't say.
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
there
I was gonna say that we make our own meaning, but I guess, yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
wasn't.
what we do.
Yeah, because pragmatically, that's not really. Because I mean, he could have also argued with my viewpoint. You could also argue that pragmatically, there is no meaning, which that's a fair assertion to make if that's how you're gonna operate. But it's like I'm just saying the way that he was justifying his meanings, I kind of also caught him is that I could also just say that since there is no point to anything, I could just say that God's the true meaning to life because there's no step that he's taking to.
Yeah, but then again,
understand
that's debatable too, isn't it?
I guess, but what he's saying is that since there's no proof for anything, there's no meaning to life. Which I'd say that's inherently incorrect because then that means you're just disregarding the need for proof to justify your viewpoints. So what I'm saying
Okay.
is that if there is no proof for either side, and he's saying that because of that I can say that life has no meaning, I could also ascribe my meaning to God because I don't need proof to justify that belief, since God could exist and there could be no meaning to life.
Interesting.
And that's where I was trying to get him, and he just refused to accept that because he has a serious narcissism complex.
Yeah, I don't think we were getting Mimi at all. Like, I think it's just simple questions that needed answers,
some
you
of
know?
some of it was uneducation, and he doesn't understand. He was probably thinking that he's a high IQ individual, and that like anyone else that doesn't really do these same things isn't really a smart individual. And
Oh, okay.
what I'm saying is that like he's probably one of those people that doesn't understand the difference between intelligence and education.
Discipline.
Because then I would also bring up the fact that most athletes probably aren't going to be able to give you a fucking college thesis on, different philosophies. But I would also argue that they're far better geniuses because by all intents and purposes, by the definitions of intelligence, they're extremely intelligent individuals. Just not everyone could fucking shoot, a fucking 3-ball from 30 feet away a basketball hoop like Steph Curry can. It's just like, it doesn't matter how perfect and how much you practice, the way that
say just got
he
full.
constructed his jump shot is just, that's a genius right there. You know, when you're shooting the ball from 30 feet away, you have to shoot the ball at 22.15 miles an hour exactly, and your area for error, you know, horizontally, meaning left or right, you know, his arm can only be off by 1/8 of an inch, and that's about as wide as a car key, and that's the thin part of the car key. So, you know, that's the type of.
How do you know that?
Well, because people smarter than me did the math on it because they didn't have anything better to do.
Look at old Kyle.
But it's a pretty interesting fucking fact. So what I'm saying is that Steph Curry, his coaches are all telling him never to fucking do this and that his jump shot looks funny, but he was right.
It works.
He was just smarter than everyone because he is just that intelligent.
Can't do that,
Because
my
he
host.
knew from a simple pattern recognition point that this is just more efficient. It's a better movement. It can be repeated from any point on the floor with little change required. You know, that's what I'm saying, is that the intelligence is something that is inherent. It's not something that can be learned. It's like, yeah, sure, everyone can shoot like Steph Curry now because now they've broken it down to like the very basic brass tacks.
Why would you invite me to a stream and not the game?
Well, you know. But yeah, so that's the whole thing, is that, like, so he was probably saying that just because we were saying kind of uneducated stuff that we weren't smart. But that's just not,
It's just not true, kind of.
well, that's because the thing is that intelligence is just something that can't be learned. Just because we're uneducated on certain matters doesn't mean that we're not smart. It just means that we never learned.
Yeah.
That's why we're constantly on the
Are you
thrive
guys
for
like?
education.
Are you guys in high school or like out of high school?
I dropped out at 15.
dropped out?
Of course.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know. I just decided that it was better for me to just go into the career that I wanted to go into sooner than just.
How old are you now?
Ready? If I can. Wait, what happened?
How old are you now?
I am 18 years old.
Oh, me too.
Oh, hey.
I graduated
Yeah.
last year.
GED at 15, and then I went to Job Corps at 16, and I got my my certification in IT. So, you know, that got me into the door with computer programming. You know, I started learning really basic shit. I was making around 18 an hour starting off. And, you know, I was working 60-hour work weeks, you know, 8-hour shifts and all that, the typical 9 to 5. And then slowly, as I'm doing that, I'm still earning different degrees online at college. Once I'm starting to pay my way through, I'm getting a lot of grants with my history, and it's just like, you know,
That's pretty dope.
You know, yeah, no. So I mean, it's just like you just got to put in the work, and that's why I didn't go to high school, because I just didn't feel like I was wasting work there.
Interesting.
Although I do kind of regret it though, because there's a lot of shit in high school that I wish I still learned, like fucking algebra and geometry.
Out
yeah.
of curiosity, what's your?
I hate algebra.
Out of curiosity, what's your theory on ultimate dimensions?
I don't know how I feel about them, because they're, first off, I'm not a quantum physicist, because, so
Okay.
I don't really have an objective understanding of reality. And then secondly, I mean, they would have to be logically infallible to exist. Like, I'm not a big fan of the infinite worlds theory, because
Uh-huh.
the fact that means that it couldn't exist, because it would be a paradox within itself.
Huh, exactly.
Right, like the infinite worlds theory is like, okay, since everything can exist in every single possible sequence of ever happening, that would mean that there's a universe out there that can hop between different universes and then completely destroy other universes, and they would destroy every universe. And then there's a universe where that universe happens, and you know, it falls apart on itself.
Everything would overlap.
Like a
Well, yeah, that's the
continuous
thing. It falls
timeline.
apart on itself because it's not logically consistent. It just can't exist within, you know, the current confines of human understanding.
Just a
Now you could
continuous
also make the argument
timeline.
that yeah, so I mean, I guess, I mean, on that reality or something that is inherently infallible, but it's the best we've got. And it's like, until there's some higher being that is able to present something better, or that there's a better alternative, I don't really know how else we'd really go about doing things.
Dope.
Although that could be uneducation on my part. I'm willing to accept that.
Damn. I really wish I knew about like a lot of this, but I'm gonna admit
Well, it's
I
just-
don't.
Well, it's just a matter of just educating yourself, or getting educated. However you decide to go about it.
There's plenty of different ways to learn and watch and shit like that. I'm always on YouTube and reading the books.
Well, for me, I would recommend, because there's some students post like their college lectures to online, or there's one college specifically. I'll see if I can find which one it is, but they do like free online courses for you to do on your own. It doesn't count towards any certificates. You're not going to get a degree on it, but you can do them for free online.
It's
Well,
MIT.
Well, I don't follow the students.
Is it
I follow
MIT?
the astrophysicist
so.
Mikio Kao. Mikio Kao, whatever his name is. That one scientist or theorist.
Are we gonna play Overwatch or just talk?
Oh, we're just gonna talk.
Alright, peace out then.
You for sure. Take care, dog.
I wanted to play Overwatch, but then y'all started talking about like the meaning of life, and then we started going into more philosophical stuff, and then I got interested, and now I don't want to play anymore.
That's kind of what I do, dog. Because I got nothing better to do.
So what exactly did you got a degree in, or?
I got a certification, just like basic IT.
Oh, okay.
So I'm able to like do fix servers up and shit. Just really, really basic shit.
I got a question
But
about.
still-
Okay. Well, I got a computer. I took it all apart. I got the motherboard apart. Let's just say if I wanted to switch to hard drive, not the hard drive, but like the main brain of the motherboard, how would I go about doing so?
It depends on the motherboard, really, because there's a bunch of different answers to that question depending on how it works.
Dang.
So it's not really enough to go off of.
Okay. Trying to take it
Because like
apart.
I'm
and mod it
not
out.
too familiar about it, but I know for a fact that if I'm not wrong, Middle Eastern motherboards are constructed differently than the European version, which is what we used. The whole 48 system and all that. They have a
Yeah.
different system over on that side of the world, so it's like it's just not.
But why?
enough.
Why is that?
I don't fucking know.
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
Like I said, I'm only educated in like just how basic shit works. Like I'm really have a basic knowledge of IT. I don't understand like the inner mechanisms of everything. Essentially,
I've always wanted to learn.
I know just enough. You know what I'm
This
saying?
is interesting,
Yeah, I
but
understand.
I'm tired as fuck, so I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, for sure. You take care, dog.
Sky 24121.
He's some nerd.
Isn't that you?
Yeah, he's some nerd.
Dope.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the college so you can learn this because I know this college also offers a philosophy course. So you can learn like really basic shit in there. I think it's better to learn debate first off because most people just learn philosophy to get into debate. So let me find it. I'm still trying to find it.
Is there anything else that's like philosophical that you want to talk about?
I'm pretty much open for anything, honestly. Although I do like arguing things that are more pragmatic, like the whole like the whole God and life and death. Like those are fun for like only 5 minutes, but it's like then at some point you're just gonna get to a point where you just have fundamentally different views on reality. So it's like you can't really say anything.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Right. So it's like I just kind of don't do that because then like you get the guy like earlier who just doesn't understand or refuses to understand or can't come like it's just like that's just a whole fucking mess and I'd rather not.
Yeah, most definitely. I saw a video recently about what would happen if the sun went out for a year. It was crazy.
Wouldn't it like freeze everything over and then like we'd just be floating away?
Yeah, it'd be like the new ice
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That'd be beyond an ice age.
Like all the
Just
mass
like
was still there, or it just went out? Like no heat.
Just went out.
Like it just no heat at all, no light at all. It's just
Okay,
gone.
but
So no
the sun,
heat, so the
but the
mass
sun,
works.
right? So, but
the sun is still there though. The sun is there, but it's like no
okay,
light,
yeah.
no heat, no nothing.
Oh, I mean, to be fair though, not
we-
much would change.
What are we talking about, boys?
I wouldn't say
Jordan.
that.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot would change if the sun disappeared.
lot would
If we got no heat or no
Yeah, we're
nothing.
just kind of bullshitting around waiting for a new topic, essentially.
Junkrat
having a sword.
Oh god.
Ooh.
That is new old.
Now, what about a gun?
No, a sword. Or a hammer.
A hammer? You know, like mix Torbjorn and Junkrat?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how that would work.
Right back.
And could fly.
Okay, now that's a whole nother story.
They're adding it is named Ash.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fair way to look at Ash.
I don't like you people.
Shit, dog.
To each his own.
Sorry. Oh,
That was so random.
I feel bad.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, it is
you guys were
MIT. Yeah. So MIT offers free courses online, so you can just take those for absolutely free. You're not going to get a degree. You're not going to get a certification. So I recommend things like art, liberal discussion, philosophy, and debate. So you can look into those.
Dope.
Yeah. So have fun with that if you just want to become super educated out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah, I believe we're in the Matrix. We're all asleep.
I can't make that. You can't make that assertion. I don't want to get into that. Fuck.
I'm telling you, we're in the Matrix, dude.
Oh my god, new
We're all
topic,
asleep.
boys.
Oh, I don't want to do that. I mean, do you want to do this? Do you want to?
I don't want to do that either.
I mean, just think about it.
This is so. There's like, what can we go off of from that?
Okay, well, see, my whole thing is that like you can't make the assertion that we're in the Matrix because then you'd have to admit that you can become God because you could interface with it.
Yeah,
Oh, you're talking about
that makes sense.
So it's like, unless you've interfaced with the fucking Matrix and become God, or seen someone that has done so, then you shouldn't even say that the Matrix is there.
what?
We're
I feel
just
like that's a little
bullshitting.
absurd, though.
But you just throw it
Is
straight
it
into
not?
the God point. I mean, there's many different
Yeah,
points.
I
Well,
feel
no,
like-
because the Matrix. Well, see, the Matrix. Assuming we're talking about the same Matrix, where it's an inherently mechanical construct, you would have to understand that since it's a reality, could be altered by the press of whatever different states of,
We're
whether
all
it's
living in
false
a
or
world
whatever,
of
it's
ones and zeros.
like what I'm saying is that like because since it's all ones and zeros, you'd know how to alter them, and then therefore you could become God, because then you'd have ultimate power over everything.
What was the? I wasn't here for the start of this. What was the whole topic?
Matrix exists.
That we live in the Matrix.
We're all
That we
asleep.
do live in the
Pretty much,
Matrix. We
pretty
live-
much we live in the Matrix. Change my mind. That's the whole premise here.
Okay, so it's a virtual reality at that point, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I believe that's totally an option. Just like to say that even we would have the capability, or that whatever created in the first place would go inside and that have that potential to go themselves into it. That's a little absurd. I don't know. Well, it could be a possibility. That's why we might not have seen that in
I mean,
the
it
first place.
could be, but what I'm saying is like I don't think it's a pretty fair assertion, because it's like, how do we power this fucking thing? Secondly, it's just like what it like.
That's the thing. We
It's
don't
like
know.
not even getting.
Our minds
It's
only
like
go
just not
so
even getting
far
into that.
that we
Well,
can't
it's just like
comprehend it.
it's just the age of the
Right.
universe already.
You
and
guys
like,
wanna go-
themselves are that old. I don't know.
You guys want to go into
True.
the topic that there are only two genders?
That's a pretty
Well,
easy one.
That's an easy one, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, it's a pretty easy one because like when you look into the science of how the term gender was even coined, it's kind of the guy. Okay, so the guy that that coined the term gender, he wanted to prove the fact that someone could socialize themselves into being the opposite gender. He wanted to prove that gender could be fluid under the right circumstances.
Are any of you guys
So-
on college campuses? Oh, sorry, keep going. Sorry.
Okay, so the thing is that this dude, he took what's the correct term here? Is it genetically or is that the right term? Like genetically male baby? Is that the right term?
Born at birth,
Is it
male, yeah,
genet-
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you get it. It was supposed
He
to
had a
be.
dick when he popped out. There you go.
Yes. So
Yeah.
he chopped that dick off as a baby. Made him a female. His brothers were raised around. Everybody was coached on to how to raise this person. To be male or female. So the thing is that he would have he would have appointments where he would have this person like hump their fucking brother,
And like, you know, he did some pretty sick and twisted shit, but he proved his point that you could socialize someone into being a different gender. So that suggests that, at least from a psychological level, that there could be more genders. And genders are inherently disconnected from sex.
So I mean, I feel like you can like identify as like whatever the hell like you want to identify with. Like if you want to be like, you know, like identify as like an attack helicopter or a, you know, a Honda Accord, go ahead. I think there's only two, like sexes, male, female. Like there's nothing.
Well, that's sexes, but that's not genders, because those are two different. Those
Gender,
are two
you can be like, you can identify as whatever the hell you want to identify as. I don't care. I mean, to be honest.
Well, that's just
I mean,
not a
you
matter.
Could,
of...
I agree
You
with
can
it, not
identify as a
necessarily,
freaking TV.
Yeah, like you want to be a TV, go for it, you know. But
Right. But
I
we're talking
don't
about.
know where you guys are, but like in the state of
But
Maryland.
the problem that most people have is how do we like implement that into society? Because you know you have people that go like, oh, you misgendered me or something, or you know.
Well, that's the whole point of protected classes, and this is what happened in Canada. I think it was 2 years ago with Bill C-16. What they did is that they added transgender individuals and like a huge list of genders to protected classes, and what protected classes are when you're signing up to go to school, or you're looking to rent a place out, or you're looking to, you know, go work at some place. You know, you're filling out your application, then you put in whatever you are. You know, you're male, female, X,
Or other.
You know, it's just what they added, and then they fucking, you know, they added the, you know, the different races and where you're from and so on and so forth, because certain answers are protected classes. You know, you can't, if you're a woman, you're not allowed to be discriminated against. You know, people can't call you slut, they can't call you a whore. You know, your employers and coworkers can't do that, because then you can file a harassment charge. So because of that, you know, that's how they're protected. You know, they have legal grounds to essentially fight back against harassment so they can function within society. So the misgender people want to put their genders on basically an application so that they can file claims for harassment if they're being harassed.
So is that
it's
a
like-
problem or a good thing?
Well, that depends on how you view the whole thing. If you want these people to be protected and to function equally in society and have the same opportunities that you do, then you should be for letting them do, you know, become protected classes. If you think that they're mentally ill or that they shouldn't be allowed to do these things, then you should be fighting against letting them be protected classes.
Then what about intersexed individuals?
Well, see, that's usually that's the most usual like example that they bring up, is that intersex individuals are protected classes. So everybody else should be as well. You know, transgender people should be a protected class. The different genders from the different lists should be a protected class as well. So it's like that. That's usually the counter argument, is that since intersex is allowed to be protected, everyone else should be as well.
Good backup.
Interesting.
Now, personally, I don't know how much I buy into the whole gender is fluid, but it's like the science is kind of show that it is, at least from a psychological level. But you know, that's a whole another subject in itself. But I do think they should be protected classes, because I do believe in equality of opportunity, which, you know, because I believe that society should serve the individual as opposed to the individual serving society. So because that, I believe that everyone should have the same opportunities that I do, and vice versa. So if a transgender individual is being blocked out of getting a job or living somewhere or going to school because of their transgender status, we should, as a society, rectify that so they have the same opportunities as us. Unless you believe that they're... See, the big problem is like it's a fundamental different view. Are these mentally ill people or are these trans people? And that's the whole impasse of the entire debate. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. And then, like, I'm saying from even a scientific standpoint, this is pretty clear cut and dry, is that transgender people are a real thing. And they, you know, they should be allowed to transition and everything that they do, because even the DSM-5 even states that it's not a mental illness, and that it should be treated, you know, by transitioning. So it's like, if we're going to take away their ability to do so, then we're just kind of fucking them over for no reason. Aside from, you know, whatever you use to justify it. You know, whether you say they're mentally ill, or you say it's against God, or whatever the case you may do. It's just, it pretty much just comes down to how you fundamentally view the situation.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So that's just kind of my view on the thing. I could be entirely wrong because I'm not too educated on the subject, but it seems pretty reasonable to me to have them be protected classes.
So since we're kind of leading over to the side about racism, what's your theory about racism? Or your
what do you mean?
views? Like your view, like what is your
Like, are you
thoughts
asking me
about
are you asking-
today's views on individuality or worded that wrong? Individual rights and shit like that.
See, my whole thing is that I do ascribe to determinism to a certain extent. So because of that, since I, am educated on how slaves used to be, and on how African Americans used to be slaves, and since you can see how they were historically fucked with by government programs and such, such as the CIA, with MK Ultra, and the fact that they spread the cocaine, that during the Iran Contra, Reagan era, they were selling crack to black people and so on. Like, they were really, really fucking gunning after black people for a long fucking time.
Yeah, they were.
And because of that, I do believe that they are disadvantaged as a people, that they're a disenfranchised society living within America. So because of that, I do believe that as a society, we should do everything within our power to actually help them out. Now, where I disagree with a lot of people who have that same mindset, I don't think so. I think it'd be a lot more effective to reform the prison system and to essentially fund these communities and to reach out to them, as opposed to just letting the ones that want to leave have an easier path to leave, essentially.
But doesn't voting also affect, the system?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because hold up, give me a second. I did an essay, and it's right here. I did an essay because I'm still in high school, so I have to do essays for my AP class.
As you do.
Robin?
I just said as you do.
Yeah, but I think I did another essay. No, did I print out 2 of them? No, I didn't. But something about like voting can help racial equality in prison system, stuff like that. So that's what I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely a fact for sure, because when you look at how black people are sentenced to higher sentences than white people for the exact same
Definitely.
crimes. Like, it's just like, there's just a lot more that is affecting black people. So I do believe that we as a society should create more opportunities for them. One of the big things.
But I also feel like sometimes, I feel like, it's like, not that I feel, but black people get it harder than white people. But at the same time, I was reading up somewhere that white people have a higher rate of being homeless than black people, as well as vice versa than jobs as well.
I need to see a source on that, because I'm not so sure if I can ascribe to that. And then secondly, you'd also have to acknowledge that there's just more white people per capita than there are black people, because they're just the majority of the population, and therefore they'd have a higher rate of poverty because there's more people.
That makes more sense. Yeah, but I'm only putting out there so you can help me out with this, because I'm not very thorough with with all of this.
I've done a lot of research onto this, because I myself am, or at least I was, an illegal immigrant. I come from that same, I've seen a lot of it. So when I was, because I have been incarcerated, I am a citizen now, so I have been incarcerated. I have a lot of family that's been incarcerated, so I know very firsthand the devastating effects it can have on someone who's trying to better their lives. And I think one of the biggest things that we have to understand is that the cycle of poverty and the poverty of crime has always been targeted at minorities since America's inception. When what's it called? What was it called when they banned alcohol again? It was when Prohibition ended. Yeah, the organization that was responsible for essentially confiscating this alcohol and shutting everything down. When they were looking for funding, they immediately sprang towards marijuana, because it was easy for them to convince the American people to have it be a banned substance, because they just didn't like fucking Mexicans. So, when you look into that and all the different propagandas they made to basically just give them an excuse to deport Mexicans if they smoked pot, You know, that it shows that a lot of America was built on this. You know, we still have minimum sentencing laws for a lot of these things. The vast majority of all prisoners are marijuana users and sellers, and most of them are non-violent. So it's like, that's one of the big things, is that is a product of institutional racism, even if it does affect everyone. Although it definitely affects some communities more, because some communities are more what's the word, dependent on the income that marijuana may bring to them, whether it be illegally gained or legally obtained. So it's just like, it's a big fucking mess. But you know, it's like, it's just, and then of course there's the Nixon's was it his domestic Secretary of Defense? I think it was John Ehrlichman, and he basically stated that they only kept weed and heroin illegal so they could criminalize blacks and hippies and disturb their meetings and arrest their leaders in order to basically just kind of bully them for his own gain. You know, he wanted to associate hippies with pot, he wanted to associate blacks with heroin, and then they would vilify them on the evening news. So it's just like, a lot of what has happened has been targeted at minorities, specifically black people. So when you look at having a high, you know, incarceration rate within a community, and then having high conviction rates and so on and so forth, and then looking at how poverty is directly proportional to crime, it's very clear what the problem here is. If we want to help black people, we have to make sure they're going to prison less, and making sure that there's less, you know, we have to essentially stop.
But wouldn't that depend on them as well?
Yes, of course it would, but what I'm saying is I'm saying, like, literally anything we do is better than what we're doing now, because we're essentially just hanging them out to dry.
Abre. Yeah. Oh, no está abierto.
Well, pretty much all we did was give them the golden plate and said, here you go, do with what you please, and so far...
Por equivocación te doblé la ropa porque
estoy buscando mi ropa
Ay, perdón.
Oscura de que me lavó tu mamá y resulta que toda es tuya.
Sí, por supuesto.
Pick up your fucking clothes, dog. Come on.
Gracias, abuela. Perdón.
That's right. You apologize to your grandmama.
Yo, I completely forgot it was in the dryer. Hold up, I have to go get my clothes because there's more clothes in the washer.
Oh fuck. So what were you saying before we got interrupted by grandmama here?
I was saying, so pretty much all we did was give them the, not golden, but silver plate and say, here you go, do with what you please, you got your freedom back. And yet we're still...
But we haven't done that.
What is it? Media news, let's just say that. Media news that they're still bad. Not we, but...
No, but what I'm saying is that we haven't freed them, though. We haven't, we've only just now have been on the path towards actually freeing them. You know, you look at specifically, you know, just after slavery, when you look into the Jim Crow movement, you look at how redlining policies prevented black people from owning property and prevented them from moving upwards economically and reaching the exact same economic prosperity as other races have. Or you look at how most drug laws have been targeted against black people, and to this day still heavily affect these communities. And when you look at how, I mean, literally everything that we have done, you know, against black people is still affecting them to this day. I mean, this is you have to realize when you look into the life of people like Gary Webb, who basically made careers reporting on the CIA selling crack to black people, you know, it's just like we have not freed them and just given them a fair shot at all. In any way, shape, or form, for that matter. And then you look at the high abortion rate in these.
Damn, she put my clothes in the dryer and everything, man. I feel bad.
I told you, dog. What the fuck are
you doing? Going deep into these conversations, man.
I know. I need to relearn Spanish. I forgot it over time living here in the States. Still got it. But no, we have not given black people a fair and equal shot after becoming free. I mean, if that was the case, the whole civil rights movement didn't need to happen.
Yeah, because after that it was like the black, was it Jim Crow era?
Well, yeah, the Jim Crow era, and then you look at how they were prevented from moving upwards economically,
and then
so on
and then the
And then, of
freaking
course, you get-
Reconstruction and Reform and all that stuff.
Right, and then basically the killing of the black family and so on and so forth. There's a 71% single mother. Like literally everything that could have possibly gone wrong with a black community
Exactly.
went wrong, and we just kind of left them to get fucked, and then we fucked them on top of that. With selling crack to them in the 90s, and then you get into the fact that Nixon was specifically targeting them during his presidency, and then there's getting into Reaganomics, which is a whole fucking thing within itself. And there's a whole
Reaganomics?
Yes, you should just look up that term. I don't have the time to fucking explain it. It's a whole load of
Reaganomics, like Ronald Reagan?
Yes.
What? I've never heard that term before.
Just look it up. I don't have the fucking time, nor am I educated enough on the matter to explain it, but it's basically fuck poor people, but those poor people tend to be minorities, so we could just say it's poor people. But we really
the economic policies of the former U.S. President Ronald Reagan, associated especially with the reduction of taxes and the promotion of unrestricted free market activity.
I didn't know it was named.
Right.
What the hell?
I'm just saying, it's like we have not freed black people and then give them a fair shot, patted them on the back, and said we have not.
What you just said was sharecropping.
Right. I mean, so it's like while you're there, look up the John Ehrlichman, JOHN space EN.
And Twistle? No, sorry.
Ehrlichman quote on marijuana, and then you can see what he said about that. Ehrlichman.
Ehrlichman.
Yeah. And
Lickman.
It's L-I-C-K. I remember that. Or C-H.
We never saw or heard anything from our dad, John Ehrlichman, that was derogatory.
Oh, you should look up his marijuana quote specifically. Or
what up? Quote.
I think he specifically did an interview with Vox, if I'm not wrong. And Vox is a crock of shit, but hey.
And he was a key figure in the leading of the Watergate first break-in and ensuing Watergate scandal. Quotes. Nixon campaign 1968. Nixon went out. Anti-war left black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black. But by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did.
And they still continue that to this day.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. Is like we have not. Like, make the statement that black people are equal and they're perfectly fucking fine and they're standing on the same ground it's just barely true. Just by the skin of your fucking teeth.
It's like a simmer.
Like maybe in like the past 5 years that statement is true, but that still doesn't ignore. And even then, you can't even make that statement because then you look at how they're sentenced to higher sentences than white people, and you look at the fact that
you can also look at the police brutality that goes around.
Well, to a certain extent, yes, but it's like there's no real data to really back that up. So it's like I don't use that as an example because that just gets into really shaky territory. I only argue in things that can be really easily proven and can be really easily statistically justified and so on and so forth. So they're not really even equal to this day, but just like even if you said that quote, that still doesn't nullify the past 297 years that they've been around in this country where they've just been gotten fucked with.
No.
So yeah, no. The black community is fucked right now, and it's all our fault. We just kind of let it happen.
We have to address something really important, guys.
What?
Did you guys know Stan Lee?
Oh yeah, he's dead. I'm sad.
Yeah. Very sad. Very depressing.
It's kind of weird how progressive he was for his time.
Yeah, yeah, old guy, but super cool.
Yeah, he was really cool. He was
Did
like
you
one
hear
of the
about
first
like all the crap that was going around about his daughter?
Yeah, and then there's also the fact that they were bringing up his like old sexual harassment harassment
Yeah.
claims. You know,
Do you believe that after a certain number of years, like harassment claims like that are like
depends on how
Like-
severe it was.
and like does that also depend on evidence as well? Like obviously it
Yes.
has to, right?
Like what I'm saying is like if we're talking about like people being kidnapped and fucking gagged and forced against entry and like it's just like the full 9 yards. It's like I don't really think that could ever be forgiven, because that's one of like because for me one of the fundamental axioms that I operate off of is the importance of bodily autonomy and free will, and by doing that you're committing very egregious attacks to both of those. So when you do that, it's like that's not, you have to atone for that at some point or another. Now whether it's punishment or rehabilitation is a whole argument within itself, but I do think like, you know, even if there's like a small modicum of evidence that could exist, I think those really do matter.
Understandable. Have you guys
But
ever
I
done
don't know too
acid?
much about his claim. But I have done a lot of shit. I've done acid, I've done shrooms, I've done fucking salvia, I've done DMT.
Salvia? What is that?
Salvia. It's a don't do it.
just don't do it.
Because I've gone as far as shrooms and LSD, but like
Those are
I
like
think-
the two weakest ones.
really, because
Yeah,
I've always
shrooms-
wanted to try. I've always wanted to try DMT. Like that's what I want to try next.
DMT is some craziness, dog. You have to. It'll blow your fucking mind apart. I just, you know, be ready. I guess there really is no way to be ready.
It just happens.
Kinda. I mean, you could make it. I mean, ironically, DMT is one of the easier drugs to get your hands on because all of the ingredients are fucking legal to get. It's extremely. It's perfectly legal. You know, you can order a mimosa hostilis.
My brother was telling me that like literally like DMT is everywhere. Is that right?
Well, yeah, it's every single carbon-based life form that exists on Earth. Whether it's grass, whether it's fucking ants, like literally anything that is alive, organically at least, not getting into robots and AI and all that, organically alive beings on the planet Earth contain DMT in some small trace amount. Now, when you're making DMT to fucking consume it, you're getting just really high concentrated pieces of it from said life form and then throwing it in. So the most common thing is either Mimosa hostilis root bark or
okay.
What's the other one? There's another root bark. It's fuck, what is it? The Acacia tree root bark. So those are the two
Interesting.
most common. So those are the
So
two
I
most
have to.
common.
Should I just like take a shovel and dig it out, like cut the root and eat that?
I would order Mimosa hostilis root bark or Acacia tree root bark like over Amazon. You can get this shit legally, perfectly fucking legally, and you'll be fine.
But my question is like, what am I gonna do with that? Why would they sell that?
Well, it's because it's legal to get, and because most people don't know how to do chemical extractions.
I don't know how to do chemical extractions.
Well,
what
just
YouTube
be
is there
careful
for.
when you're searching it up.
Oh,
You know, use your VPNs, use your fucking, you know, use VMs and everything. You know, just be very, very fucking careful. Make sure you're doing very basic OPSEC. Operation
damn!
security.
I was about to search it up right now.
You gotta be very. I mean, searching it up probably won't get the FBI on your ass, but you'll probably be on a watch list somewhere. So just kind of be careful with that.
I'm probably already on the watch list. I searched up how to make bombs.
how to make a pipe bomb. How to make a pipe bomb.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, you should have some fucking. You should have some FBI on your ass. At the very least, you should have gotten a visit from the NSA.
Nah, yeah,
Hey, I have a guardian angel now.
I don't fucking know, man. Because like I've had the authorities call on me for using for using basically the. I'm sure you guys all know what the deep web is by now.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah, that shit's. I mean, you
Oh,
just
it's so
download
cool.
a browser. It's not that cool. People dramatize the shit out of it. So which if you're being very secure with it, use a virtual machine, which is a VM that basically makes a computer within your computer, and then from there you install Linux. It's an old operating system. Barely anyone uses it. You install Linux. You put on whatever VPN you decide to use, and all of that. You do all of that shit. And then you finally use the Tor browser, then you gotta be very careful with using links, and you gotta be extremely careful with what you click on and what you use. And I thought I was careful enough, but apparently I forgot to turn my VPN on one night, so I had to speak to a couple NSA agents to see what I was up to. Luckily, I wasn't doing anything. I was just reading. Just reading like free speech forums and so on and so forth. So it's like I was fine, but that shit. It's just you gotta be careful with that shit. But of course, I did everything legally. I said you can search my hard drives, you can check everything. I'm perfectly squeaky fucking clean here, and that was all good. So it's like you just gotta be careful with that shit because everything you do. Is
Knowing me, I'm retarded, so I'd probably click on something that I'm not supposed to by accident, and like I would get cucked by then. You just gotta be very careful. That's all it is. Just practice basic OPSEC and you'll be fine. I'm literally the clumsiest person you will ever meet ever. And I don't do it on purpose either. Just be careful. Just make sure you're checking your list twice. Like legit, I was walking around my room one day and I slipped on my own sock and I hit my head. Fucking sweet, dog. I'm just so unfortunate.
You're on the right path.
Yes, sir.
I slipped on my own sock.
But yeah, every single thing that you could need to make DMT is available to you legally. You can legally obtain everything. It's just that creating it and then consuming it is illegal. So, it's kind of like how CBD oil is legal nationally, but it's like you can't grow pot. No one is allowed to grow pot, and no one is allowed to sell
technically
it. But
you
CBD
can.
oil is legal. Well, no, not necessarily, because federally pot is still a class 1 drug.
Oh yeah, by the FBI only.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. It's one of those. It's only illegal if you get caught situations.
Yeah.
How cold is it where you guys are?
I live in LA, so right now it's about 78 degrees at 7:29 o'clock.
That's cool. You're the second person I know that lives in LA.
I live on the outskirts in the IE.
Oh, where?
In the what?
In the Inland Empire.
Oh.
So it's on the outskirts of LA. San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Oh. I live in Miami. It's hot as hell over here.
You can't. I visited Miami once, and it's like the amount of times I was mistaken for a Cuban was just I couldn't.
Yo, it's Cuban Central over here.
Oh yeah, no, seriously. A fucking Cubanos thought I was fucking Cuban too. That was the fuck.
Dude, it's literally another Cuba over here. It's like little Cuba.
No, seriously, I had to fucking learn Cuban Spanish for like a weekend just to get by. It was so fucking weird, man. They speak fucking weird Spanish. I can't. That shit's just I can't. It's just so fucking weird.
I mean, my Spanish is broken as hell, dude. It's all good.
Well, that's literally what Cuban Spanish is, though. Even if you're speaking it right, it's still broken Spanish. I can't. This shit's weird, dog. Oh fuck, you scared me, son.
Alright, I think I'm gonna go play some games.
Yeah, for sure. You take care.
Alright, man. Yeah, have a good night.
That's your drugs. Wear your seatbelt. It's just all good.
Wear your seatbelt, drink while you drive, and take some LSD. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most definitely. I'm
Alright. guys, let's get this game going.
Are we all gonna?
What's up? I got one question for you guys. I need you guys need the answer. I need to hear it correctly.
What's that?
Penis.
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 What the fuck? I guess that works. Let's fucking do it, you fucking weirdos. Oh, that was good response.
Do you
That was
like
the
penis
first.
or something?
Oh, I love it. I'm all for it.
Alright.
So you guys strategists or what?
We just like to tickle this pickle.
Oh shit. I like to eat the pickle, so you're all cool with that. We're good.
Those are Spanish stuff.
Yo, I'm back.
Yo.
Where's skirmish? Hey, what am I playing? What am I playing, brother?
Brother, we're playing some.
Oh, I'm playing Tracer. Which
Widowmaker. Widowmaker.
Dude, my Widow is ass.
Exactly, that's why you play Widowmaker.
Right?
Oh, but Tracer. I got this cool Tracer skin. I want to play Tracer.
Oh, you got Ninja.
I know, check out my cool Hanzo.
Oh, I have the white one. I can't remember which one that is.
Oh, why do you gotta be white?
Oh, I got
shit.
Widowmaker.
We were just standing there right there. That's hilarious. I didn't even realize. That was right over my shoulder. You could have killed me, dude.
That was scary, dude.
I know, that's rude. What a bully.
We weren't even shooting at him.
I know, we were just having fun. Just having fun on the bridge, man.
Just making memories.
Hanzo and Tracer memories. Now it's Hanzo and Hannah memories. That's kind of weird.
Oh shit. You cheating on me?
Touch from afar.
Oh, no lamps.
Well, I never noticed the fuck.
You'll be fine.
There's a graffiti on it.
This is my will.
Oh, Tracer by getting in the head. That's right. Committing mutiny. Shooting you right in the neck.
You see that thing? You see that thing right there? Look what I'm shooting at. On their base?
Oh, yeah.
On their base. It's from WoW, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember what that was.
Yeah, it's fun.
Because I played a different MMO that had like a rip-off version.
Oh, yeah?
I can't remember what it was.
Well, I get in this to play World of Warcraft, and then I get over it.
Have you played the newest?
The last I played was Panda.
Yeah, that's the last time I played too. That's when I quit.
I mean, I got to a point, it was taking over my life. Either I had to give it up or be a bum.
Yeah, I used to play a ton of StarCraft and WoW. I was an orc shaman. That was my main.
Yep. I was Blood Elf Paladin.
Undead Mage.
Nice.
Oh.
Time to read my
Genji, your reinforcements just disappeared.
Alright.
He's like, fuck, I gotta run.
He took off all quick.
Have a bomb to throw on someone.
That was hella funny.
Time to read my EPN.
I'm a badass. No, I'm not.
That didn't work.
Routing power to forward area. Defense matrix activated. Let's defend.
Final.
Hey.
Oi.
I said, hey, we want some pussy.
We got black pussy, we got white pussy, hairy pussy.
Defenses.
Okay, what do we do?
Mighty Mora.
I think Genji or McCree.
You want Orisa or Reinhardt?
I think Bastion or Torbjorn.
Interesting.
I can play Torb.
Your safety is my primary concern. I will simulate our upcoming mission to identify all possible outcomes.
No puff puff pass?
Puff, 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 puff pass.
Oh yeah. Puff this. Good night.
I'm gonna puff it, I'm gonna puff it again, I'm gonna puff it again and again. And then I'll
Someone's about to feel this hammer.
Can I feel the hammer? Where's the hammer at?
See this hammer?
If they decide
Come
to
here. I want your hammer.
I'm coming.
try and flank.
Coming.
Why am I down here? This is great.
That's what I was saying. I was like, wait a second, why was I down there?
That shit's down. Genji in the group.
I need healing. Thank you.
Shit. Oh. Genji's back in the group. God damn, that gets
That Genji
I'm gonna go
rush
Tracer.
is taking
They
everybody
don't
out.
have a brig, I'm going Tracer.
We weren't ready. Here's over 9,000.
Restart initialized.
Get to the point, guys.
I'm coming.
Oh, I'm dead. I was trying to hold it as long as I could.
Okay.
Fuck you, Mercy.
We're gonna have to hold point B here.
Yeah.
Don't die for point A. Don't, yeah, just come back to point A. Don't defend it, don't defend it. They have it. Come back.
Someone's gotta come. Someone's gotta go.
Whatever
take
you
out
feel
Genji.
comfortable with here.
I am not ready to
What?
deactivate.
Someone's gotta aim up for Genji because he's the one getting behind us.
Genji's on the left.
Get on point, get on point, get on point.
Come back from the front.
Genji just ulted.
These guys are really good.
I need
Gotta get
healing.
the Arista. Gotta get the Arista. Got him. Mercy, free kill, free kill. Dead. Mercy. Keep low.
It came in hard and heavy.
Yeah.
It's okay, guys.
Good. Yeah. Still got one whole bar.
We gotta doom this.
We held them like this last time, remember?
Right.
On the left, there's a Doomfist.
Up here, okay. Oh, no, that was not that bad guy.
They got a bastion though.
Hiding up here where I'm aiming. Up here, up here. You see him?
I see him, yep. He's up on the floor.
He's jumping around over here.
Someone hit up on the healers.
Mercy? Mercy? One. Dead.
Diva's half. Diva had a mech. Diva down.
Dead. They're coming through the center. I have ult. I have ult.
One healer
I'm
right
close.
now. Just too crazy.
I'm gonna try to go for a flank when they group up on us, okay? I'll go for a flank with my ult. I'm watching left.
Don't stand in the middle. Just don't stand in the middle. Bastion's not
I'm watching left. Be careful, guys.
Yeah, I think they're pushing
Careful.
left. They're pushing right. It was like.
Watch right, watch right. Yeah, I see them down right. Someone watch that. Someone watch that.
Yeah, there's one down there.
Okay, 2 left. Diva left. It's 3 left.
Coming down middle. Simba's got me.
Get the Arista.
Where's it down? Well,
I'm
got
down.
someone down.
there.
The meteor strike.
We have a rift still on there. I'm coming back. I'm coming from behind you, Arista. Aw.
Ay.
I didn't know that everyone was dead.
Yeah. Good try. We started holding it really well at the end there. If we can just play like how we did at the end, we'll be fine.
Hey, let's run Ghost Cop.
You wanna do goats? You wanna do...
They won't expect it.
I can run Zarya, or I can do whatever actually. I'll play whatever.
Do Zarya.
Okay.
I'll do Lucio.
Okay.
And Mercy, can you do Brigitte or...
Yeah, I can do Bear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got this.
Everyone stay behind Reinhardt.
Yep.
Do you guys want to go right or left?
I'm thinking we go left and then run up and cut them off from behind and then take the bridge over.
Okay, I'll speed boost us when we're going.
Okay, so we're gonna run through the building into the left, okay guys? Behind the Reinhardt.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Just run as fast as you can behind them.
Yeah, and I'm gonna speed boost us halfway there.
Okay. I'm gonna try to catch them off guard with this.
Or should I speed boost us up the get-go and then we'll have it for healing when we're fighting?
Yeah, that would probably be best. So just remember, go right or left. Go. Go.
Left.
Okay, guys, come on.
Yeah, fair. Keep an eye on that.
Diva, you gotta dive on that Pharah.
Warrior's one.
Oh. That fair, dude. She just wrecked me.
Yeah, we got this. We got this.
That's pretty good though.
We got a widow now.
Oh, fucking
oh my
what?
god.
Nice.
That widow. Watch out for the widow on spawn. Watch out for the widow.
Top center, yeah.
Watch out for the widow. Come on. Follow the Moira. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, guys. Come on.
Diva, dive on her. Jump up, fly up and get her.
Find their weakness and claim the objective.
We're up top right now. We're up top. This is one. This is down. Diva. Get the Diva.
Fair is behind us.
I'm planning my side on the point.
This isn't working.
Yeah.
Because of the Farah.
We're on the point. We're on the point.
I'm taking the objective. Come on over.
No one can combat with.
If you want to switch
Farah.
to DPS, you can. You want to switch?
Yeah, I'm switching. This isn't working. We have 2 minutes. We gotta
Go
go.
on the tree. I'm going the tree. Go.
Fucking fair. I fucking roll.
Watch out for the widow.
Actually, I'm gonna go junk. No, I'm not. Junk's not gonna look at Farah.
Hey,
Oh
soldier.
my god.
Torb, go Torb. Torb will be good with this turret. Or Sombra is good out of this guy.
Widow's half dead. If someone can get her.
Farrah's one, if anyone can get her. She's in the house up there.
Someone's gotta take out Farah. She's getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Alright, Bridget, let's go.
Get the Ripper. Oh my god. Good job, guys. Get the point.
Watch out for
This guy.
We need the time.
We're all on it. It's taking forever.
that. Right?
I wasn't there. We got 4.5 minutes. Let's go, guys. That's right. I'm going up right.
All behind you.
Awesome. Far behind.
Bastion down. Ah, Diva got me.
I'll try to take out the Pharah.
I think overall did, yeah. Trigger, but...
About 3.5 minutes.
Oh man, what the fuck happened to both of you? Oh, it's fair. Yeah, right there.
Going left.
Alright, I'm going with you. I'm behind you, Genji. Nice. Okay.
Oh,
So
that
that's
Bastion's
enough,
over there.
Oh my god. I tried to blink onto the healing top.
Damn it.
That Pharah isn't taking a shot. I can play Pharah to counter her.
I'm gonna play. You wanna play Soldier?
I can't. I've never played.
If I'll
Okay, I'll
be
just
able
go
to,
Pharah
but
and then.
instead of tank.
Well, have you ever played Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's just like that.
I've got rally from getting on point.
Get the Ripper.
Oh my god, I need keep healing.
That's it. I'll go Soldier then.
Push the Bastion back. How are you gonna run back into your base? Like, that's so chicken.
Okay, this is Call of Duty.
60 seconds.
I told you, it's just like that. And you focus on that Pharah.
Okay, my camera is stuck up in the air.
That is your job. You look bad.
Mercy?
Bastion low.
Can't get in there. We gotta take out Orisa. Someone's gotta get, the minute we get in there, we gotta get on Orisa. She's covered into that little corner. Junkrat, you're gonna have to be the best bet.
I'm not even there.
I got killed off the storm.
Solo out. Yeah.
But it was just one game, though. It's all good.
Yeah.
Just a good team.
I'm not gonna watch this. Hurt my soul, boys.
Say again?